Where my girls at?
Taking the spice, you know, keep it locked in.
Where my girls at?
Keep on watching while the beat keep knocking.
Where my girls at?
You love the flow, it's the ladies' show.
Where my girls at? Yeah.
You are now tuned into K100 Radio, Hip Hop and R&B.
Jeannie, Mai, and Jeezy are sadly gearing up for a big divorce battle in court. Jeannie Mai is fighting for full custody of their newborn. Gurus, everybody comment. When Jeannie Mai reads that her marriage is irretrievably broken with no chance of reconciliation, as a woman, how do you think that makes her feel? And do you think that she'll win full custody?
I mean, I would be devastated, especially as it kind of seems like she's a little blindsided. Like, I don't feel like, I feel like this came as a surprise to her for some reason, the same way it did to us. So I don't know what happened. Would love to know what happened, but it sounded like a stab to the heart for sure. And something must have happened. The fact that she's trying to get full custody, I'm like, what's that about?
Yeah.
That makes me feel like something happened. And I don't know, maybe she will win depending on whatever happened. But I know usually 9 times out of 10, the mom is already looked at as the person who's going to win regardless. But I just feel like there's just something happening that we don't know about 100%.
Absolutely, because it's not coming together for me. Like something is definitely missing.
Yeah.
This is just like a all of a sudden type of thing. They appeared to be okay not too long before he actually filed for divorce, but he was actually planning this like a while back for months. There were like little cheating rumors and stuff like that, but I don't know how true that is. And also specifically for Jeannie Mai, I feel, I mean, I don't know what actually happened. I don't know the background, but I do feel bad for her. She just came out of a marriage and was divorced, and she was devastated about that. This woman did not want to have children. She said that for many, many years, and she gave this man a child and married him. And to read that there's nothing that can be done to save this,
and so soon,
must be like a stab to the heart. Like,
exactly.
Jeezy strikes me as a very strict individual when it comes to his feelings. Because to have a daughter, right? You have a daughter, and all of a sudden now, if there was no cheating involved, right? If there was no cheating involved, to say that your marriage is broken and it can't be fixed, right, is saying a lot without saying a lot.
But
I mean,
having strict boundaries on your feelings or your emotions when you're in a marriage is just that, I don't know. You're dealing with another person. You become one with that. That's what it's supposed to be, right? You become one with that other person. So nothing's perfect. Things aren't going to be perfect. You're going to get your little feelings hurt sometimes, but why are we taking it that far of committing in that type of way and bringing children into the world for your strict feelings to just stop the progress and not even try to make it work?
I have so many thoughts. I remember Jeezy saying something about there were cultural differences. Like, I know that, like, Jeannie being Vietnamese, a lot of the times their families will live with them, like their parents, their grandparents, everybody's in one household, or at least in close proximity. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jeannie's mom was living with them. I heard that might have been
and the brother. From what I understand, the brother was living with them too.
Yep.
Right. See, when you living under somebody else's roof, you got to respect their roof. So I'm not sure if maybe that was an issue. Maybe that he felt like they weren't respecting his house, especially him being the man of the house.
Right.
On the flip side, though, it's like, all right, long-term relationship or marriage, right? You're still in it for the long haul. But marriage is different because you sign a certificate, and like you said, all assets become one. You know, mine is yours, yours is mine. Once you take that step, you can't just call it quits at the first sign of trouble. I agree with Darcy with the whole, like, I feel like he didn't really try hard enough. I kind of feel like he didn't really want to be married anymore. But I feel really bad for Jeannie. It is not just being a female. I don't
Where
just
they
want
do
to
that at though? Where they do? Yo, can you just feel like you don't want to be married no more?
Right.
That's crazy.
Apparently.
Like, what you mean? And he ain't know this before about her cultural stuff? Like, come on.
I mean, I kind of mimic what the other ladies were saying. Like, I'm sure she was blindsided by it. Like, she said that, right? She said that multiple times. Like, she felt blindsided. But I thought that I had read recently that he was feeling like he was might be regretting the decision to file.
Really?
Like that came out, and I think that like he jumped because maybe he didn't like something, and like like what you guys were saying earlier, like he like strong arming his household, and this might be kind of like a manipulation thing. I'm not saying, I don't know, because I don't know Jeezy's antics. Like I don't really follow what has happened prior to this relationship, but I know like Jeannie Mai has also a very strong personality too, so they could be like bumping heads a lot, and she just thought, well, this is just things that happen in marriage will get past it, and he's just like, nah, I'm good.
I don't know if this is all the way true, but I think the technicalities regarding this situation is that if a woman or a wife if it bears out that custody is granted to both of the parties, I believe child support is no longer in the equation.
That's
Correct.
a fact.
Is that true?
That is correct.
So then that's why he wants to do joint custody. And maybe that's the reason why Jeannie Mai wants full custody.
But I thought that if you could have joint custody, but there could be like the person who actually houses the child the majority of the time would be the one who gets child support. Still, I mean, I don't know. It could be different in different states. I don't know, but
I think it depends on if they have an agreement or not. Like if everything is amicable and they're getting along and they decide to keep the courts out of it, that's one thing. But if they're not getting along and the father's like, well, I'm giving you this much and that's all I'm going to give you, and the mom's like, well, I need more, then that's a whole different issue.
Hey, look, some people's feelings are very light switchy. Like some people, they'll be on, and then when they off, they off.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be getting married. Okay.
Really don't.
There's a
That's
level
not
of
what-
maturity
that's
that
not-
comes with that.
And
a
no
level
pride.
of maturity.
It's giving pride.
You have to understand and realize certain things when you decide that you want to get married.
Right.
Like it's not all about you anymore. You have to recognize your flaws and things that you need to work on as well. Like it's just not gonna work. Like it ain't gonna work.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right.
Right. It stopped being all about you once you decided to take that vow and sign that license.
Come on,
And
now.
you brought a child into the world out of that
Yeah,
union.
come
And now you
on.
got another, I hate to say this, you got another black child being brought into this world.
Yep.
Coming from a broken home.
I hate it. I hate it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, she did say that now that Monaco is here, that it changes everything. And it sounds as if Jeannie Mai and Jeezy are about to go to war in court. And it's very sad.
It is sad.
You know, after being in love just a year ago, having a child less than a year ago, being and agreeing to live in one space, and now being in court, going to war is absolutely sad.
Insane.
All right, gurus. Before we get to the next segment, I just want to bring up the topic of Ice Spice. real quickly, only because obviously there's so many. A lot of people got a lot to say about Ice Spice. I mean, right now she was actually at the Powerhouse. It was the Powerhouse for 105. It was actually Powerhouse NY, and she was performing on stage, and she was dressed up as Betty Boop. And I looked in the comments, man. She is getting hammered in the comments.
That's who she was.
It was a costume for Betty Boop. What is your what's your thoughts on that?
Don't do Betty Boo like that. That's my thoughts. That I would have never thought. I thought that was just her concert outfit. I did
Yeah,
not.
I didn't know that either.
I guess I didn't see the video from many angles, and I'm sure that angle we saw that is what people wanted to see. But I definitely didn't get Betty Boo. Okay. Like, yes, Betty Boo was a doll, but she was a classy doll. She didn't do all that. So I'm confused.
Right. Like I appreciated the tribute to Betty Boop because Betty Boop, the original Betty Boop, the woman that Betty Boop was based on was a woman of color. So I can appreciate that. But you wore something that was so short, you had to keep constantly pulling it down to cover your behind. What was the point of wearing it?
Which it wasn't even doing.
Could have did a bodysuit.
Yeah,
Like a
like
dress with a bodysuit like underneath or something like that to
Hello.
make it a little bit more classy because you're doing all the moving around on stage.
right.
It was too much. Like
It was a lot. I was very confused as what I was watching.
I was very disappointed. I'm keeping it real.
Very.
I think because of her age, though, I think that like she has to be mindful of her audience too. Like you're coming out there, ass cheeks clapping, and I understand it's part of your shtick, whatever. But like you also got like your full ass exposed, like on
Yeah.
stage working, and
Doing.
supposedly you're Betty Boop, which is like kind of a character that kids like kind of, what I mean? I mean, adults like them too, or like her too, but I don't know. I just feel like you got to be mindful of your audience, especially because of her age. She's so young still.
Wait a minute, Ice Spice messed it up for the kids?
No, I don't think that. I'm not saying she messed it up for the kids. I'm just saying that she's got to be mindful too. It's like kind of classless, but I'm not a judger per se. I'm just saying it's kind of like, girl. I mean, everybody done see your booty cheeks already. Like
Maybe her audience don't even know Betty Boo. Her audience probably don't
Right.
even know Betty Boo. But ain't TikTok, they don't know.
They just know it from that lady that's on Woman Bags. That's it.
Just to be clear, I mean, I have no problems with Ice Spice. If she wants to show, by all means. I mean, you're not gonna hear a complaint out of me. You know what I'm saying? But what I think what is also an issue though is that a lot of people were saying that, and I was reading the comments, and people said that she's making female MCs, giving them a bad name because of that's a strong word, bad name, not necessarily a bad name, but for real female MCs that know how to rap, it wasn't a good look for them. They may have felt disrespected too.
Look, at this point in time, I think we all need to come to the realization that one thing at this point has nothing to do with the other. This is American music. This is entertainment. This is about $1, and it's about a good time. And 9 times out of 10, that's about it.
Right.
That's part of her. That's part of her little, show. Her little gimmick. She turns around and she do her little Ice Spice pop 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 or whatever. That dress she had on, though, like, come on, we all know as women, like when we get ready to do something or go somewhere, if you're not comfortable in what you have on, you're just gonna be uncomfortable for the whole night. You knew that when you put that costume on, okay?
Sure. On that shirt.
So
Yes.
that part you messed up right there. Okay, somebody should have told you something before you got on that stage and did that. But I'm not surprised. I mean, like it was very raunchy. It was very classless. You had your whole ass out. You looked like a stripper. It just was music that went along with it, and you were on the stage rappings. It's just nothing new. I don't
It's
know.
not. It's not. It's nothing new. I mean, she go along with the rest of this stuff that's going on. She can't be in a box with the real MCs. Like they shouldn't even feel nothing. They should be like,
Right.
oh, another day. Yeah.
Not only that though, the older MCs been had their ass out too. So it's not like she
Yeah.
broke a a
Yeah,
trend.
not
or
like
The
something.
this.
way that it was done, like there's a way to do
Yeah, it was
it.
just
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
There's a wrong way to do wrong. So I'm
Right.
joking.
Right. Sidebar, I feel like whoever her handlers are, because you know all artists got handlers when you get to certain echelon in the industry. Whoever her handlers are should probably work more on developing her as an artist.
yeah.
You can say it because she's not the best artist.
Right.
Well, she said
Everything
that.
otherwise, no stage presence, no nothing.
Yeah.
Focus more on developing her talent
Mhm.
than trying to sell sex. Because once that weans off, then what's left?
Right.
Look,
Yeah.
whoever doesn't she have the same manager that Cardi B had?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I think that's something that I heard, but I'm not sure. If that is the case, though, he's awesome because what do you do? Like
Right.
what? Like
Right.
what? Well, first of all, where did she come from? Secondly, how? Like how?
Right.
Like I don't
Well, she
understand.
came
But
from
you did a good job,
NYC.
okay? Because she out there, all right. She's
And blew
That's
up in a year, okay? A whole
Yeah.
year. It took her a year. She
That's
started rapping
it.
a year.
That's
A year
it.
and a half ago.
And you know what? In her little world, and in what's going on in the little world, that's all that matters, I guess.
The numbers are in, and it doesn't look good for the City Girls. The City Girls just released a new album that in their first week of sales, estimated to be less than 10,000 albums sold. So point blank, gurus, can the City Girls rap?
they cannot.
Child.
I think half of the group can rap, kind of. You know what I mean? But
I
But
don't
they-
listen to them. I don't listen to them at all. I have like the old stuff when they first came out because it's catchy. But when I actually listen to it, I'm like, it's not on the same beat. It's not like the words are not on beat with the music, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. I mean, I'm not into like the nonsense rap, so
yeah.
not my thing. So,
Right.
but
Well,
I'm
I
not
see
surprised
them
by
out
this.
there.
I think the question is valid because at the end of the day, I mean, they have been struggling with album sales. They've been struggling with a lot of music. So, you know, this isn't the first time that they actually got criticized when it comes to album sales. So the fact that they have only sold 8,000.9 in record sales, and you basically got to ask, and specifically, Young Miami got criticized on whether or not she can rap.
Yeah, because she's the one that's in the group. But I mean, look, they're both, you know, equally as talented for in I guess we could say. But I think that like even what she call herself, Carisha, Young Miami, whatever.
Carisha,
But
please.
Didn't she say one time she said that she never said she was a lyricist, but her man got money, so you don't really have like she like came out and said like so it's like they know they're a gimmick. They know that they're you know what I mean like they're there for not a long time but a good time. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it was a whole gimmick.
Huh?
It was a whole gimmick when they came out. They're from you know, Florida, you know, it was a little different, you know, when they came out and it spread across the country or whatever, their little style or whatever. You know, it was like, I guess, whatever, if you want to call it cute or I don't know what you want to, whatever floats your boat.
Trendy.
But you know, it was what it was. And it was something different, and they got up off of that, and now are we really actually talking about are they good rappers?
Here goes that question.
When did
That
When
was the
was they
topic.
ever? But
Right.
that
When
that's
did
not what
15
it's
Seconds of
about.
Fame is
We know
dwelling?
this is not what
They're
it's
really not
about. It's not about
comparable.
the
Right.
talent. It's
Nope.
about right now and a good time, just like Ice Spice and all of that. It's not about
Yep.
the talent. It's
Right.
just entertainment. This is the
Yeah.
way. And you know what? What's the other one's name? I know Carisha, but what's the other one's name?
JT.
JT.
She needs to get something going because I don't know how long this is gonna last.
Well,
JT.
to her credit, though, to her credit, she does have a solo album dropping any day now, I guess.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Mm.
Hope it's better than this album that didn't
Okay.
sell.
Okay. Maybe
I won't be
maybe
partaking.
something else. Maybe
Oh my
something
God.
else.
Yeah.
They
Right.
might as well be like Insta influencers. That's when I see them, people reposting them, they reposting like their looks and stuff. I don't see no music.
Something.
Nobody talking
You
about
can
But
do
you
music.
also,
no.
Come out
you
with a
also
clothing
have
line.
that
Do
Something.
little
something else. It's a
Yeah.
gateway. You got
show.
a
Right.
magnificent platform. Go
Right.
yes,
start,
Stay
yes,
off of that.
because
Yeah.
this might not be it. It might be over.
yes. Young Miami has showed
It's
everybody
over.
how to use the hell out of Instagram. Her,
Mm-hmm.
Cardi B, a couple of others, they use the hell out of that, and they actually have been successful with that pull.
Yeah.
Now, Diddy, you could have did something for your girl. You could have did
Right.
something.
Just like he paid for her to win best podcast at the Hip
Well,
Hop Awards.
that's
Oh,
He
is
did
that
that?
how that happened?
Child,
Why he did that?
we know Drink Champ should have won.
That's crazy.
But
He's
anywho,
doing too much. He's doing too much.
Also, gurus, there was some very sad news across Hollywood that the Friends legend Matthew Perry
I
died
can't believe that.
yesterday from an apparent
crazy.
drowning.
I can't believe that.
Crazy.
yeah, I ain't gonna front I'm a black girl who loved Friends. Okay, don't judge me. He was
Oh,
one of my
that's
favorite characters. I loved me some Chandler Bing. Rest in peace, Matthew
That's
Perry.
sad, man.
Found out last night. My feelings were just I hurt like because
Yeah.
if you know the struggle that he went through to fight it, to battle his addictions and the alcoholism and the pills and the coke and everything. It was
Absolutely.
a constantly a push and pull kind of sort of thing,
Right.
and we saw him overcome that. So to see him go through all of that, come out on the other side, and pass away like that, it was just heartbreaking.
And not to mention, the man
Traumatized.
was a genius, man. Like the way he really put on that role and really like he embodied that role and it was like he had everybody cracking up for years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not only that, I believe there were times when he was high off the there was some word that he was even high on set. They had to take him to the
Oh wow.
hospital
Yes.
right after doing some of the footage that we thought was so hilarious. He completely transformed
Wow.
into a sick patient.
Wow.
You
That's
know,
crazy.
you know?
So the talent that it takes to go on set, handle your business, high as a kite, and not have the audience detect that anything is wrong,
Right.
speaks volumes.
He was he was a functioning
Addict.
addict.
Mm-hmm.
But
So sad.
so they did say that they didn't find any drugs at the scene, I guess. But a toxicology report, I'm
Yeah.
sure will come
It
eventually.
seems as if maybe he fell asleep in the hot tub and drowned or something.
You
Really?
was not sleeping that damn heavy. So when
Well,
you
yeah.
hit that water and you
Right.
can no longer breathe,
Right.
you was waking up. Okay.
Right.
It's not like you out in the ocean and the waves is just taking you out.
Right.
You in a jacuzzi, okay?
That's crazy. We need more stories.
Something is wrong here. Something
Something
else
ain't
is
right.
something
Yeah.
else that
They said
happened.
they found a bunch of prescription pill bottles, like a
They
bunch
did?
of
I didn't
medications.
see
They
Yeah,
that.
found that?
they didn't find anything illegal. Like no illicit stuff. They found a
Oh,
bunch of
that's
pills.
Wow, that's enough.
So,
because those pills prescription, and
Mhm.
we're gonna talk about this also in a second, but those prescription medications, they will take you out.
Yeah.
Okay, you take one or two too many, and no, you're not waking up.
Nope.
It's legal dope. It's
Yep, it
legal
is.
heroin. And
It
you see
is.
these people out here when they be leaning and stuff like that's what it do to you.
Listen, somebody
And
almost walked into me yesterday. If I wasn't paying attention, crackhead come around the corner. I'm trying to go to the gym. I would have been on the floor because his eyes were closed. He's just going. I don't matter. I'm like, listen, what level are you on?
they stand up and lay down at the same time
They
and
do.
it's
And
it's
walk and sleep
amazing.
at the same time. I was like, how is he getting
Right.
anywhere? His eyes are closed.
Yeah.
There
So
was that. But like if that is true, if he did take that and then it lines up to how he was if he was in a jacuzzi and he high off of his prescription drugs, he ain't waking up. That is sad. I'm sure this story will develop because we don't really know anything. It's just happened. So it's heartbreaking.
Monique sues CBS and Paramount. She claims she's owed millions in unpaid royalties for sitcoms The Parkers. She is seeking monetary damages, which she has requested to be determined by a jury at trial. Monique alleges that the companies unfairly structured the show's profitability so that they could retain millions that would otherwise be contractually due to her and her husband, Sidney Hicks.
mm.
Gurus, what do you think about this terrible situation?
Why they keep playing with her? This is not the first time she going through all of this. Like,
Right.
give her coin. She paid her dues, okay?
I feel like they're not playing with her in particular. I feel like this is something that is just been done with these big companies and stuff generally across the entertainment world. This is something that they've been doing, but
Business as usual.
Monique is just she ain't with it, and she's just bringing this all out, and she's really putting her foot down and exposing everything she could expose, and she's not having it.
Yeah.
But these are things that happen since the beginning of entertainment. Bad contracts. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you signed the contract. That's why the contract is in place. So I don't know how far legally she's going to get with suing.
Well, if her lawyers can prove that she is due money, she's going to get that money. In other words, like
the whole thing is basically what's in the contract is in the contract. What she's trying to get out of it though is for CBS to just do the right thing.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that the whatever was in the contract when you signed it isn't what it is. Are they gonna,
absolutely,
their foot and step back and just do the right thing? That's a whole nother situation, but they don't have to.
Another situation though is if your lawyers can prove that you were due and owed money, then that's a different thing entirely also. Yeah. But the thing is that why are these corporations taking so much money from talent? They're robbing talent left and right. These corporations can't get out there and demand the attention that the talent can demand. These corporations can't in no way do anything close to what these influencers, these actresses, these multi-talented people can do for the culture. And they changed the whole decade, these people.
But see, you got and entertainment is the pimp and hoe game. Point blank in the period.
Right.
Somebody's gonna be the pimp game and get most of the money, and somebody's gonna go out there on that track and go get their bread. Unfortunately, it is what it is. You know what I mean? My thing is, where were your lawyers before you signed that contract? Because like Darcy said, what's in the contract,
another thing.
Messed up as it is what it is. I love Monique. Monique, if you see this, don't feel no type of way. But I'm gonna keep it real with you, sweet. You and your lawyers, who I'm sure you had looked over your contract before you signed it, decided that was a good contract for you to sign before you decided to go do the Parkers. So if it wasn't messed up, if it wasn't a bad contract then, why is it a bad contract now? You knowingly signed it. You knowingly not only had your lawyers look at it and they okayed it, but you also had your husband / manager check it out.
I mean,
So
look at what happened to Black Ink with Caesar and these other people. They
What
made
happened to them?
$1.2 billion of Black Ink, and they only received 1% of that money for everybody that played in that show. Marcy, what you think about that?
Horrible.
I agree with Monique though. I mean, I feel like she was a trailblazer. She opened up the doors for a lot of these other comedians to get out there and make money and on Netflix, like Tiffany Haddish and all of them. So what she's claiming is like, I think when she signed her contract, first of all, I don't think was she married at the time when she signed contract at Netflix? I don't know if she was married, but I think that a lot of the business angle is coming from her husband. And I think that he's opened like her eyes to a lot of things that probably, she should have done at that time. And that's why now she's, fighting for this stuff. And she's right. She's right. I mean, but the thing is everybody starts from somewhere, right? So if you're the trailblazer, you're the one who set, like, yeah, you open the doors, but how many times, like, you hear about the NBA and how much people used to make back in the days, and now they're making this much, billions and millions, like, if you have to give everybody back the money that they should have made then, these corporations would owe a lot of people a lot of money. But
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happened with the Netflix and all of these streaming networks that now won't even pay royalties. They had to picket and do all sorts of stuff just for people to recognize the fact that they have done hard work and they deserve these royalties. Ty, what do you think about that?
I could not agree more. Like, I think about it just being, working in the industry and working on sets with actors and all of this stuff. And it's just like, y'all productions cannot get anything done without the talent. Like, the talent makes everything. Y'all are just the business behind it. The talent is getting out there what you want to portray. So it's just, even with like the strikes that was happening, like with these big stars. And it's like, really? How do y'all think what y'all want to get done is getting done without them? It just makes no sense. And like, I agree with everything y'all was saying, but the flip side could really be whatever was in her contract, they're just not giving her the money because these businesses will do that. They do that. I work, I do hair, makeup, and modeling, but I work with a lot of corporate companies, and sometimes they behind on paying their money or they're not doing what's in the contract. And they just won't do it because they think they're powerful enough to get away with it. That's just unfortunately what it is in with the corporate stuff in this industry. It's ridiculous.
and it's not any easier because she's a woman too. So it's like they take
Exactly.
advantage of
right.
And a black woman.
And a black woman at that.
Yep.
Yeah, man, we've seen so many times where, there's people, like I said, the influence and the amount of pushing things in the right directions really do come from the talent that is placed in front of these cameras and that spearhead some of the businesses that's out there. And it basically comes down to people being greedy as hell.
Yep.
You don't have to, you're making plenty of money. There is plenty of money to go around in this business. And for somebody to just take somebody else's money and rob them out of how they feed their family, to me is outrageous. And our community, and we got to do something about that.
Yeah.
What was crazy? It wasn't just about the strike. Wasn't just about the fact that they weren't getting royalties. Like the studio heads wanted to take the actors, actors and actresses likenesses, and make make an AI figure, and they could just use them whenever they wanted to without paying the actor. That's crazy to me.
How does
That's
that even make
crazy.
sense? Like, how y'all let that come out your mouth and think, oh, that makes sense? Where y'all
You gonna
getting the AI from?
I get the money.
Like, y'all just decided that, like, no, it's just ridiculous. Like, the world we live in now, like, I'm not with all this AI stuff. That's not, I don't like all of that. Like, I couldn't believe when I saw, I think it was Maybelline makeup commercial, and they had a real model next to AI. I'm like, why is this on my TV? It just looked ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, I feel like, yes, it could be used for certain things, but to literally take the place of these people in their careers is ridiculous. I'm
There's
just
a lot
not
of people losing
understanding.
their jobs to AI right now.
Yeah, it's lazy and greedy.
It's all about the money. It's all
Mhm.
about the money. And I wouldn't expect anything less from big corporations.
Yeah.
That's the goal for most of these companies is to make money. So,
That's why I think we have to rethink these corporations. A lot of
Mhm.
the dollars that's being made is coming from small businesses. So
Yep.
when we link up with these big corporations, I think we all need to rethink the whole situation and
Mhm.
make it some kind of different way.
America's food is banned in 30 countries. The food is killing people. Oh yeah, it's definitely killing people. If somebody were to buy a bag of Lay's potato chips in Europe and look at the ingredients, they're totally different. They will make the healthier version for another country. There's over 10,000 food chemicals that are allowed in the American population or food system that aren't allowed in other countries. It makes it easier for food companies, gives them longer shelf life. So anytime we lobby for healthier food choices in our school systems, in our neighborhood, food industry is going right behind them with billions and millions of dollars saying, no, we can't do that.
There are some foods that we eat that are banned. Not in the US, of course, but in other countries. For example, Mountain Dew isn't the healthiest thing in the world, but it gets even worse when you add in brominated vegetable oil. This ingredient is flame retardant and has been used in American sodas for decades. In some, it can cause skin lesions, memory loss, and nerve problems. That's exactly why Europe and Japan have banned it from all food and beverages. Coca-Cola and Pepsi have promised to remove it from all drinks as of 2014, but still have yet to deliver on this promise. Gurus, what are your thoughts?
What the hell are we eating?
So glad I talked about
Whole
fake
this.
lot of
stuff,
crap.
Listen,
fillers,
yep,
a
this
bunch of
bounce off of the
fillers.
money thing. It's all about the money. They don't care what they making. They don't care.
They got
It's
garbage.
all connected. Like
Yeah,
these corporations,
that's all it is.
you have these people that are the big 1%, 2%, 5% of the world, right? The
Mhm.
high ups, right? They all own the same companies. They're
Mhm.
all invested in the same companies.
Yeah.
Food is the food industry. It's
Mhm.
the pharmaceutical industry,
Right.
and it's
They,
the entertainment industry.
Yep.
And it's all a thing.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, it's all about money,
Yep.
which that's that's what it comes down to, you
That's
know?
really it. That's
but
really it. And it's whack. It's just whack.
what bugs
Mm.
me out is the fact that this is government regulated. Like the Food and Drug Administration exists to try to prevent. This is what they say. Okay, prevent harmful things getting into our food and from us consuming it, right? But y'all are okaying these ingredients being put into our food. I guarantee you, they're not feeding their families the same food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, the
guarantee.
problem, yeah, the problem
Exactly.
is that bribery is legal. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So basically, that says that okay, we have this stuff going on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the people that y'all elect, and we're
Right.
gonna tell them that look, if you let this slide, basically, we'll give
Mhm.
you $250,000 to your next campaign. Therefore, you
Mhm.
could keep making the money you making, and you making about 200 and something, 400 and something $1,000 a year. So we're gonna keep you making that money if you just let this stuff slide. And if they end
Mhm.
up staying in those positions in 10 years, you could tally that up to how much money they're gonna have. You know, we talking about millionaires now. Now they millionaires. They stay in their seat for about 10 years, 8 years. They millionaires.
Right.
I mean,
Like,
there's
is it
law that's
worth
gonna
it?
up.
You know?
Yeah, it's just really ridiculous. And what I was looking for the part where I don't see it in here, but I know it's here, where the person who passed from the lemonade. That's a
Mm,
part of the food, right? That's a part of this. I don't know where is
mhm.
it.
Panera Bread.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Lemonade and
Isn't
Panera?
that connected to this?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it here. I know it was there. I remember
Yeah,
reading it.
it was. What happened was, so the story out there for people, there was a girl who Panera Bread apparently started making some kind of uh energy drink that was higher than
Mm.
all the drinks that's out there. And so it was so high energy that a girl died from it. And I believe something about her heart or whatever.
Mm.
And in fairness, she had something. So she wasn't
She had a
completely,
pre-existing
yeah,
condition.
pre-existing
Mhm.
condition. So she
Yeah.
drank that from Panera Bread. The family sues Panera Bread.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and basically is saying, I don't know if it's still being sold at Panera Bread,
Mm-hmm.
but
I hope not.
for the love of money and for
Mm.
greed purposes, they gonna feed people whatever they could feed people to make that dollar.
Yep. That's it. That's it. At first, I was like, when I read this, I was like, wait, because I think I've had a lemonade or two from there, but I don't think it was that. That must be
It was
something.
called like a supercharged lemonade. This thing
Oh,
had this thing had the energy, the caffeine of a Red Bull and Monster Energy drink combined,
oh no.
right?
Mm-mm.
The sugar of I think it was like 30 teaspoons, tablespoons, or whatever. That's actually
Mm-hmm.
normal for
Outrageous.
even a soda. Okay, that's actually normal for even just a soda. Um, but the
Isn't it?
whole thing is right there's the things that we consume. It's so much stuff in some of the stuff that we consume that we don't even know what it is, what type of
Yeah.
chemical it is, what type of damage it does to the body or anything. And then on top of that, for certain things not to be listed in the
Yeah.
ingredients, which is that's what a real issue is, because it's somewhat legal for companies to be able to do that, not list all of the ingredients that are in these things that we're consuming, right? And that's why the family is suing, because it wasn't listed. It wasn't she wasn't aware that all of these things were
Absolutely.
in
And
this drink that
Yeah.
she drank,
Right.
and she had a pre-existing heart condition which led to her death.
you know what? I'm
Um,
gonna I'm gonna read it right here, and then Marcy, you could say what you was gonna say. It says the FDA says it's looking into the death of a college student who drank Panera Bread's charged lemonade. The Food and Drug Administration says Wednesday that it is gathering information about the death of a young woman with a heart condition who a lawsuit alleges died after she consumed a highly caffeinated lemonade from Panera Bread. Sarah Cates was her name. She's 21 years old. An Ivy League student died in September 2022 after she drank Panera Bread's lemonade, a large cup of which contains more caffeine than a standard can of Red Bull and Monster Energy drinks combined. Go ahead, Marcia.
Well, I mean, first of all, RIP to the young lady, right? So, I mean, I'm very, very unfortunate she lost her life. But this is the thing that's just boggling my mind. Like, you have a pre-existing heart condition. Why are you drinking a charged energy drink? Period. Like, I'm not saying okay, like there is no onus on the energy drink, because if there are no ingredients, I mean, how many of us go into a establishment and read all the ingredients before we drink it? What we're drinking. My thing is, if it's an energy drink, I have a heart condition. That's one thing I'm gonna stay away from,
Mm-hmm.
because energy drinks tend to speed up your heart, and that can't be good for you. So why would you go get an energy drink when there's so many other drinks there you can get? The guava drink is amazing. I mean, the acai stuff, and whatever's the other flavored lemonades and stuff that aren't supercharged. Why
Yeah.
would you go directly to that? I mean, I'm not
so
I'm not
what
judging
could have
her,
happened,
blaming her.
like maybe she was somebody that drank a lot of coffee, or somebody that did drink energy drinks like a Red Bull or a Monster energy drink, and she was tired because she's a college student and stuff like that or whatever. But now you have this supercharged energy drink from Panera Bread, and you don't know. All right, I've had energy drinks before, but this is double time.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
double.
yeah. Like
what's
I
normal.
understand. Basically, Marcy is saying as well is that we have to take responsibility as well to be able to
Yeah.
hold these people accountable for what they're actually doing. Like, and that's important too. We got to play our role as well. Dwight Howard is being sued by a man who alleges he was forced into a threesome with an ex-NBA star. A man named Stephen Harper has sued the former Lakers star Dwight Howard for assault, battery, intentional inflictions of emotions, distress, and false imprisonment. The report includes screenshots of messages between Harper and the NBA champion. The supposed incident happened in 2021. Harper's, who apparently started exchanging messages with Howard on Instagram, claims the incident occurred at the ex-NBA player's home in Georgia on July 19th in 2021. According to the court documents, after months of exchanged explicit messages, Howard invited Harper to his home to have a sexual encounter. Harper claims that he and Howard were later joined at the house by another man dressed as a woman who called themselves Kitty. Wow. Harper urges he Harper argues he didn't consent to them being joined by a third person, but was convinced to stay by Howard. The suit alleges that Howard and Kitty began to perform sexual acts, and Harper was forced to join even after saying no. Harper says that Howard told him he was going to be whatever and he was going to like it. The accuser then claims that he feared for his safety if he resisted the sexual advances. After the act was over, Harper tried to go home in the Uber after feeling extremely violated and humiliated. Gurus, what do you believe Howard forced this man into a? Do you believe Howard forced this man into a threesome?
Yes.
Wait, when did he stop playing ball?
Okay.
Dwight Howard right now is playing ball overseas.
Oh, because I'm like, what?
Pause.
Yeah, what?
I believe it.
Hey.
I don't know what's
Playing
going on.
with balls overseas.
Yeah.
We gotta
I
pause
love
that.
No, you know what? I have this theory that like the more accomplished, and this is just from experience. I work in corporate America. I know a lot of people are established or whatever. And I have a theory. It's like the more established you are as a person, the more weird you are sexually. Like, like this. I've had conversations and I'm like, wow. And even when I meet somebody who is, of a certain, caliber, the first question that I ask, do you have some weird niche I need to know about? Like, because everybody is weird. Once they start getting money, it's like, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them,
Me
And
neither.
all
I
kinds
feel
of
like
issues with that man.
people that get weird when they get money that have always been quote unquote weird.
Yeah.
That it's just money to bring it out.
Because now they get to play it out because they got
Yeah,
the money.
now they like, yep, they like, oh, I'm at the top. What else can I do? Like, no,
You know
don't
what
do that.
though? Like, it's not even weird that he, wanted to have a threesome with this man and this kitty person. The weird part is that he said that he's not gay.
Oh,
Right.
Story of their lives. That's their favorite line.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
He might not be gay. Maybe he's bisexual. I mean, we know he has kids. So, like, maybe.
I mean, yeah, you got a bunch of kids. You got a bunch of
Right.
kids. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you want to say you're not gay, like to a gay man, as if you are embarrassed that
Right.
you about to poke him in the room.
But if
You
That's all
you're
that
more
evidence.
embarrassed about telling this gay man that you gay than about poking him when
Right.
he comes over.
There's something wrong up here.
I'm
Yeah,
confused.
and also another weird part to this story is the fact that Dwight Howard is an ex-NBA champion, and you're talking to random people
Okay,
on Instagram.
come on.
Sir,
Right.
sir.
You gotta be a little bit neater than that,
It's
Dwight.
given desperation. What's
You gotta
happening?
be a little more neater.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Is he saying that this didn't happen? Or is he
So-
saying that this didn't happen, or this didn't happen with the threesome? Or like, is he saying this, I never engaged in stuff like this? Or is he just saying this particular threesome with this particular person didn't happen?
Right.
He told, okay, so there was
Not gay
text
at all.
messages. The victim put out text messages that happened right before the incident, and Dwight was in the text message talking about, I want more, but I'm not gay or whatever. And then he let him know a little while later. It was like 3:00 in the morning, like, how do you feel about having a threesome? And it could be a guy, it could be a girl. And this was Kitty, I guess, because Kitty was dressed like a girl and it was a man. Okay. And then the victim said, okay, well, I'm already en route or whatever. So I don't know how he was proving, that this was something that he wasn't trying to do, because Dwight already told your ass what was about to happen. Okay.
Right.
Still came. So,
Yeah,
but if you get there and you say no, then no means no. Okay. But, I listen.
So I mean, look, the question. I mean, at the end of the day, what is going to come down to is that the way he is trying to frame this situation is that he's calling himself a victim, which means that basically what he's trying to get at is that Dwight Howard and whoever this guy was basically raped him. That's what he's trying to argue.
Right.
Just looking through the article. And he's basically saying that because that happened, he may want money for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Here's my thing, right?
Is this a power grab? I mean, is this a money grab?
It's a money grab all day.
Probably.
If I'm a victim and I'm speaking as a survivor of sexual assault, I'm a victim. I'm not going to, if I don't go tell the police, I'm not going to go put it out to the media what happened. You understand what I'm saying? Why are you going to the public when you haven't even gone to put a report in?
Yeah.
That's another thing. This just came out. Like, did he start pursuing this like back in 2021 when it happened, or
Apparently not.
Yeah. See, that's how all the stories be. The ones that he definitely wants something from this.
Of course.
Either he wants the attention,
Of course.
or it's just a basic cash grab.
Yep.
Oh, he want that bread. He said, you know what? I might as well.
I mean, look, would Dwight Howard be that stupid to engage in those type of activities at his home?
I believe it happened at his
being
house.
an NBA champion and with all that money?
Yeah. Those
That's
are
the
the
safest
dumbest.
place because you can't go to a hotel.
Definitely not. Those are the dumbest ones.
Too many people gonna see you coming and going and seeing who's going in your room. Oh, Dwight Howard staying there. Okay, let's scope out the room. Oh, who's that dude going in there? Oh my God, look at the transvestite going in the room.
But apparently, when you go back and you understand that he was randomly talking to people on Instagram,
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? What are you going through?
Yeah, right. That part. That
What is he
part.
doing, right?
What you dealing with, son?
The man got
What you
like
doing with all
7,
this
8
stuff?
kids, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he was just he just came to a point in life where he just I'm sick of these women and all of these damn kids and let me I just want to release and do something different. I don't know.
Well, all right, gurus, it's been a good show.
Yes.
For everybody out there, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe.
Mhm.
Everybody, this is the Lady Guru Show, and
Yes, it
we
is.
are out of here.
Where my girls at?
Bye.
Spicy